everybody, and welcome to another edition of 18 Minutes with 180 Markets. Well, friends, we know in life that relationships matter, experience matters, and when you're investing, you really need to back the best in class with the right people and the right product. And that's why I'm thrilled today to be joined by Zack Bozinovski of Wellnex, because Wellnex is a company with brands that for sure you will recognize. But also, Zack has a huge amount of experience, and there's also a very good capital raising opportunity at hand right now. And with that, Zack, welcome.
Thank you, Greg. Good to talk to you.
Hey, Zack, as I mentioned, in retail, and I suppose in any business, relationships matter. Knowing how to market matters. Knowing how to do deals matters. Well, Zack, just tell for people that are not familiar with you, just a little bit about your background, especially in these fast-moving products.
Sure. Look, I've been around for over 35 years and had the privilege of working in fast-moving consumer goods and pharmauticals over that period of time. Again, fortunate to work for some really major companies like PepsiCo and Uncle Toby's here in Australia, and also had the opportunity to move out of the grocery trade and into pharmaceuticals. And I spent just under 4 years at Sigma, looking after the OTC business. So I've been, given a great opportunity to learn the ropes, working for some big companies. But I've also had the opportunity to then leave the corporate world in 2010, and get rid of all the safety nets that a big corporations give you, and do things myself, and set up my own sales and marketing business. Launched a few brands for a couple of partners over the years, and we're very fortunate that one of the brands, Boost Effervescent Vitamins, we sold to Procter & Gamble in 2021. So we developed that in 2013, and 7, 8 years later, we'd sold to Procter & Gamble in the US, which is a great thrill for all the partners. So I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of experience, and I've learned a lot along the way. And obviously now, as I get into my mature years, I'll call them, it's great that I can use all that experience garnered. But also, Greg, it's important that experience and reputation is one thing, but you still have to continue to deliver those results. And I'd like to think that in my world and at Wellnex, what we do is, we've got to have a good reputation, but we also have to deliver a reputation. And we don't just stop at the front door and go, we've delivered on our reputation. We've actually gone through the door and delivered on what we said we'd deliver with our products and opportunities in the company.
Yeah, and I suppose that Wellnex, it's the type of business, retail, where the numbers, it's a little bit like a sporting team. They don't lie, they're in your face. You have in there the revenues, the net profit, and the gross margin. And that's an area, the gross margin, that I wanted to focus on because in the retail business, gross margin just has such a huge impact. Can you just explain Wellnex a little bit and about the strategic shift over the last, I would say maybe a couple of years even, about shifting to those higher margin products?
Yes, certainly. So prior to becoming Wellnex, when I sold the sales and marketing business, we were obviously a brokerage business. So there was a lot of revenue coming through the business, but very low margins because you're representing other people's brands in the local market. So we made that strategic shift back in 2022. We made the decision that over the next 12, 24 months, we're going to move away from a high revenue, low margin brokerage business into our own brands where obviously is a lot more higher margin. And obviously, we set about building brands, and getting those brands with strong margins was critical to us. And we launched Wakey Wakey and Nighty Night along the journey. And whilst they probably weren't really strong margin brands, we knew as the revenue grew, we'd get improvement on COGS, and we could spend less as the brands matured. So we knew the margin would continue to increase. So we had these couple of new brands like Wakey Wakey, Nighty Night, the Iron Company, for example, which had delivered good margins, but we're going to continue working on them. And then the opportunity, Greg, came to acquire Paintaway, an established 25-year-old brand. Was doing circa $30 million revenue, but importantly for the company, starting gross margins around 75–80%. So we took that opportunity to acquire the brand with really strong gross margins. And in the background, we've continued to drive that brand and reap the benefits of those strong margins, all the while whilst we continue to improve the margins on our other new brand margin products. So for us as a company, we want to make sure we're circulating 35 to 45% margins going forward. That's sort of basic minimum we work towards. So everything we do
At the
now,
group level, you mean?
at a group level, yes, everything
Okay.
we do now reverse engineers from that number forward. Whereas
Okay.
historically, we go, you know what, we're going to launch a product and we'll work our way through it. Now we're very strategic in what we do. And there's been many opportunities that I've knocked back in the company in recent times where I've just gone, no, that starting margin is nowhere near what we want to be. So let's not waste our time on low revenue products. Let's ensure we're getting the right margin products to start with, which obviously filters through going forward and makes the company a lot stronger business and a lot more viable and tangible going forward.
Right. And as like, I understand the margin story. Shifting to the top line, you already have a great penetration in the pharmaceutical area, but talk to us about the grocery penetration and the opportunity, if you will.
Yeah, sure. It's again, it's a blessing for our business. So pain away revenue, for example, when we acquired the brand, 91% was in the pharmacy channel, and over-indexed in the pharmacy channel. And literally, we set about and said, look, we know there's an opportunity in the grocery channel. So 12 months post-acquisition of Painaway, our pharmacy revenue is down to 84%. So we've
Right.
picked up incremental revenue in grocery. And that is actually incremental revenue. We haven't just swapped it from pharmacy to grocery, it's incremental revenue. We have a
Okay.
view, Greg, over the next 12 months or so that they'll come down to about a 70-30 split. So again, and that's probably more about where we think the Painaway brand should be, that revenue 70% out of pharmacy, because that is a heritage brand. And we do dominate in accounts like Chemist Warehouse with 20 plus SKUs on the shelf. But we generally believe there's $3 to $4 million of incremental revenue out of grocery. Flip it the other way with Wakey Wakey and 99. 80+% of our revenue comes out of supermarkets and 20% comes out of pharmacy. So we have this real good balance in the fact that we don't have all our eggs in one channel,
Right.
either grocery or pharmacy. And we continue to work on growing Wakey Wakey and 99 in the pharmacy channel, and continue to expand in the grocery channel. So we're very fortunate in the fact we do have good control. We don't, sort of put our eggs in one basket. We have good control and opportunities in both the grocery and pharmacy channel for all of our brands.
Right. And I guess that leads towards repeatability as well. Um, Zach, growing the top line further, international is another potential opportunity.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to come back from London a couple of weeks ago, where we obviously were there as part of the raise, but also talking to a potential distributor, which I've actually worked with before from the Boost days. And there's a lot of excitement about our brands, Greg. It's amazing. You develop brands like Wakey Wakey and 99 and the Iron Company, and you go to the UK market. There's nothing like it. There's no
Right.
energy complementary effervescence. There's no sleep complementary effervescence. There's no slow release iron gummies out there. So people are going to us, oh, great! Like we haven't seen stuff like this, which is fantastic, right? So we're not going to walk into the UK and generate millions and millions of dollars overnight, but it gives us confidence that we have a lot of revenue, top and bottom line opportunities domestically, but
Right.
also internationally. And we're very keen to get into the UK market by the end of the year. But also, we've identified 4 European countries, Greg, Italy, Germany, Spain, and France, where our brand portfolio profile fits those 4 markets as well. So excited to sort of look at that for 2026. And then obviously, probably late 26, we'll look at the US as well, because we generally believe Painaway is a really good fit for not just the Asian market, but the US market. So revenue, we've been very busy in the first 3.5 years of Wellnex,
Yeah.
but we're now really excited with the capital raise and tidying up the balance sheet, having that clear path to really grow the business domestically. We will never forget our heritage and our roots, and we know there's still a lot of upside for the brands here in Australia/New Zealand, but really excited that there's interest and strong opportunity for our brands to succeed in international markets.
Right. And I'll get to the capital raise in a moment, but just staying with the UK. So just so investors are clear, for call it the next 12 months, maybe, the end of 2025, should we be looking out for revenues in the UK?
Yeah. So based
Without
on the
giving, without saying what you can't
no,
say.
no, that's all good. So based on the discussions I'm having, my firm belief is that in the last quarter of 2025 / the first quarter of 2026 calendar, my hope and expectation is that we will be generating some revenue with some of our Australian brands. We are already generating revenue in the UK, Greg, with our contract manufacturer of Haleon. But if I
Right.
look at a brander perspective, I'd like to believe that we will be generating revenue of our homegrown brands in the UK market at the end of this year, early next year, which is really, really exciting for the company.
Yeah, and can you just talk about, especially for Australians that may not be familiar, the Helion partnership? What does it potentially mean for Wellnex?
Yes, it's we're a small market cap here in Oz. Depending which day look at the share price, we're bounce around between 22 and 25, $30 million. Um, to have a global giant like Halion, they're a $60 billion market cap on the London Stock Exchange. They don't just work with anybody.
Right.
They do their due diligence on companies, and if they're going to work with somebody, they really put you through the ringer from a DD perspective, quality, supply, who the
Right.
directors are, what's the company history, can they pay the bills, etc., etc. Right? And we were fortunate back in 2022 to strike this relationship. We've launched our IP liquid paracetamol soft gels in Oz in 2022, and now we've just launched into the UK. So we shipped our first store in November last year, and as we speak, that product is now appearing on shelf, which is really exciting for the company. But Greg, what that's done for us is give Halion even more confidence in Wellnex Life, and
Right.
they're saying to us, "Okay, great. We've been in partnership 3 or 4 years now. Your quality is first class. We've never had any supply issues. You're really great to work with. We talk about opportunities all the time. So now, Greg, behind the scenes, and again, I can only say so much due to
Yeah, of
confidentiality.
course.
But it's fair to say that there is a lot of ongoing dialogue for additional launches of additional products in additional markets in the European part of the world. And again, we believe that Haleon really value and appreciate our MPD, and to that effect, there's a lot of interest in talking to us about, hey, what else have you got out there, especially in this soft gel technology. I'm not interested in tablets. I'm just interested
Right.
in value-added soft gel technology. And as I said, we've had a great partnership with Haleon. We also supply the same products to Aerotex and Chemist Warehouse here in Australia. So we're really excited what we're going to do domestically with Chemist Warehouse and Aerotex, but also the big prize and the jewel in our crown is the Haleon Global Partnership.
Right. And Zach, you mentioned soft gels. Why are they so important?
Yeah, it's a great question. So people sort of ask me, how did this soft gel journey start? And it pretty much started even before we sort of sold the brokerage business to Wellnex. I
Okay.
had, I had this, I have a very inquisitive mind in the fact that I'm sitting there going, so Nurofen, who do ibuprofen, have
Right.
an ibuprofen tablet, but they also launched a liquid ibuprofen soft gel all those years ago. And we
Right.
discovered that consumers were prepared to pay up to 40% more for a liquid ibuprofen soft gel versus a,
Yes.
a tablet. And that's all, Greg, because of the speed. Liquid, there's a lot more speed in liquid, right? So we
Yes.
sat back and said, okay, so ibuprofen is a big part of the analgesics market. Paracetamol is a big part of the analgesics market. Why hasn't somebody like a Panadol or a Haleon done a liquid paracetamol soft gel? So we sort of sitting there going, well, because it's 500 milligrams versus 200, would the soft gel be too big? Is it, can you not find a contract manufacturer who can do the job? What was the
Right.
situation? Long story short, we found a great contract manufacturing partner in the subcontinent. Um, we worked with them to finalise a product. We then submitted it to the TGA here in Australia. We submitted our dossier, got our marketing authorisation, and suddenly we've launched this liquid paracetamol product, which people like Haleon, Aerotex, and Chemist Warehouse love the innovation. Consumers love innovation.
Right.
Retailers love innovation. But when it comes to analgesia, the faster you can relieve somebody's pain, the better, right? So
Yep.
consumers are much more prepared to pay a little bit more to get rid of that headache or that ache a lot faster. And that's why, as a company, that's what we love doing. We love being first or fast to market. We love launching innovative products. And the liquid paracetamol soft gel was one of those products where people said, oh, you'll never be able to develop a paracetamol soft gel product. And yet here we are in 2025, supplying it to Australia, supplying to UK, talking about a lot of other opportunities around liquid paracetamol and soft gel products on a global basis. So really, really proud and happy that we went down that path, despite a lot of people saying you're crazy going down that path. But again, it's part of the DNA of the company and why I think we've been successful and will continue to be successful going forward.
Yeah, you've got to try things. Zach, Wellnex has so much on the go right now. Maybe turn a little bit towards the capital raise because obviously it requires capital. Just talk about it.
Yeah, so we just finished, as mentioned before, 3 weeks in the UK. Although we did go early in the year just to test the waters about a dual listing on the London Stock Exchange on the AIM. So we had a great response, Greg. We really never had any major institutional investors in Wellnex. It's always been the Ma and Pa investors have been fantastic. Have given us a lot of
Right.
support over the years. So I'm really proud to say that we have a couple of major institutional investors from the UK coming on board, and they generally see the opportunity of the company. They love the space we're in, the health and wellness space.
Yeah.
Since the pandemic, people are more into self care and ensuring they're best they can be. So they love the space we're in. They love the products we're developing. They love the innovative positioning of our brands. But Greg, they really, really, really love the fact that a company like ours is working with a company like Haleon in the UK. So there's some great operational opportunities, but
Right.
also there's a lot more money in the UK as well. So we got to talk to a lot more investors who like to sort of invest in companies like Wellnex up and coming, but also Greg complements our launch in the UK, right? So we
Right.
want to be a brand of business in the UK. So if we're listed in the UK, again, gives us more credibility from that perspective. We've got some great brands, which gives us credibility from a launch perspective. And then again, one of the major companies on LSE is Haleon.
Yeah.
So you're supplying Haleon, you're coming to the UK, you're going to launch your products in the UK. So it really ties up really, really well as part of the listing. So that's what really excites us about going to the UK. We'll never forget our local market, and we've got a rights issue at the moment, a one-for-one rights issue. So give investors the opportunity to come in at the same prices as we have are going out in the UK. But we believe we're ready to go to the UK market. We believe we're ready to go to the European market. A lot of work's gone on behind the scenes.
I'm sure.
We're the proverbial duck above the waterline, right? It's trying to look pretty cool, but below the waterline, we're paddling like mad. And to launch a company in 2021 and launch all the brands we've done, acquired the brands we've acquired, gone through a capital raise, and about to list hopefully next week on the LSE. We've done a lot of work, but we know we're game ready to launch in the UK and internationally, and we know we can still maximise what we're doing in Australia. So we're in a really strong position as part of what we're doing in the UK to really take this company forward.
Yeah. Hey, Zach, we have to wrap it up. If there's one or two points you want every investor or potential investor to know about Wellnex, what would they be?
Yeah, it's a good question, Rick. So let me put it this way: you mentioned at the start about people and experience, how good it is for the company, for
Yes.
companies.
Massive.
So to me, if people can understand that a company like Haleon works with Wellnex Life and continues to work with Wellnex Life, that's a testament to the quality of our company, right?
Right.
The fact that Haleon keeps wanting to work with Wellnex is a great testament company. So rest assured, Wellnex is a very well thought after and sought after company to work with globally, right? So that's really important for people to understand. But most importantly, we're all about new and innovative products, Greg. Everything we
Right.
do in our portfolio adds value to consumers and retailers. If you can get that right, ensuring that the retailers who are the gatekeepers of you launching products in the market, if you get
Absolutely.
that right, and then consumers then love your products and brands, that's going to really give us a lot of growth and strength going forward. So I think if I summarize quickly, having a partnership with Haleon is very, very important to this company and to people who are looking at investing. But also, when we do products and launch products, we just don't do me two, me three, me four products. We want to be first or fast to market of innovation, which is a lifeblood of revenue going forward.
Got it. Zach, thank you very much. We definitely will stay in touch.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate your time. Thanks again.
Bye bye.